You know, man, I've had a lot of experiences in this past year with doctors, and there's a lot of great doctors out there. I'm sure of it. I have not fucking met a single one. Hey guys, your boy is feeling pretty shitty. I have some more treatment coming up for presumed encephalitis. I already had IV steroids, corticosteroids, very high dose 3-day IV corticosteroids done. I'm going to have more rounds of that, as well as perhaps IVIG, intravenous immunoglobulin therapy, which is quite expensive and insurance isn't paying for it. But I feel like I'm tripping on acid a little bit all day, every day, and it kind of sucks. But I'm holding on to my butt cheeks, and every once in a while, I see something that makes me angry enough to make a video. So today I was looking through my subreddit, r/TRT help. You should join it. And somebody was asking about enclomiphene, and their doctor had prescribed it to them because they are a young man, and the doctor wanted to preserve that young man's fertility, and that's fine. Enclomiphene is a SERM, a selective estrogen receptor modulator, that antagonizes their estrogen receptor in the hypothalamus and increases the output of LH and FSH. So basically it works within your natural feedback loop to increase your natural production of testosterone and doesn't shut you down. So it preserves your fertility, which is something that might be ideal for a younger man, instead of going straight to testosterone injections and shutting that individual down and reducing their possibility of having children in the future. So he's asking if he should use enclomiphene, if he should trust his doctor and do enclomiphene instead of the injections. And I was doing some research on enclomiphene. I heard about it. I haven't used it personally. I don't like to give a lot of opinions on things I haven't used personally. So I like to do research before I give somebody an opinion, and I like to kind of back up my claims. One thing I noted with this person was that their doctor also prescribed HCG alongside of enclomiphene, which is ridiculously stupid and shows that their doctor is just looking for money and is putting money before their health and well-being, because the enclomiphene is already going to support a natural production of testosterone, and then you're throwing HCG in there, which acts as an LH analog, which is going to stimulate the testicles even more to produce more testosterone. And basically it's just adding an increased risk of side effects without any benefit whatsoever. So unless you're doing a PCT coming off of testosterone or other anabolic steroids, then using a HCG or a similar compound alongside a SERM is ridiculous. If you're just doing a monotherapy to try to get your natural production increased through a selective estrogen receptor modulator, then adding in HCG is just superfluous and is only going to increase side effects without any benefit at all. So that stood out to me and it was irritating. I don't like it when doctors are just prescribing extra medications. I think that patient was going to pay $175 for the HCG, which is $175 for just more side effects. Stupid. But anyway, I was doing research on enclomiphene because I actually don't know a whole lot about it besides the fact that it's a SERM. I'll be the first to admit. And I was reading this article that was published in the Journal of Expert Opinion in Pharmacotherapy. And it had a notable name here, Dr. Larry Lipschultz. Some of you may have heard of him. He is a urologist based out of the Baylor College of Medicine. I believe he does both research and teaching, and he does surgery as well. So basically this article was written by some authors and medical doctors out of the Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. I was reading through it, and something that really stood out to me here was this paragraph. It said, off-label pharmacologic strategies to stimulate endogenous testosterone production are available. These include selective estrogen receptor modulators like enclomiphene, selective androgen receptor modulators, SARMs, and aromatase inhibitors. Right? Okay, so SERMs we already know work to improve or increase natural production of testosterone. Aromatase inhibitors have been used, can be used. I actually don't know the success rate on this, but generally the idea is you use an aromatase inhibitor to decrease your circulating estrogen, and your brain, your hypothalamus will detect that and upregulate FSH and LH in an attempt to bring your estrogen back up into a normal range. It brings estrogen back up into a normal range by signaling the testicles to produce more testosterone. So that's the theory there in using an AI to improve natural production of testosterone. But what surprised me here is that they said that selective androgen receptor modulators are a legitimate strategy to stimulate endogenous testosterone production, which is fucking stupid. You know, man, I've had a lot of experiences in this past year with doctors, and you know, there's a lot of great doctors out there. I'm sure of it. I have not fucking met a single one. All the doctors I've talked to have delayed my treatment. They haven't listened to my symptoms. They make wild guesses without any supporting evidence. They don't believe my suggestion when I have plenty of evidence to back up my claims. I thought I had fucking encephalitis month 2 of my symptoms. I was treated for encephalitis in month 7. So it took all that time. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. So not a fan of doctors right now in my life. And when I go through a legitimate medical article with well-known medical doctors out of Baylor College of Medicine who are practicing medicine and practicing surgery, and then they say something like SARMs can be used to stimulate endogenous testosterone production, are you fucking high? They shut you down. SARMs shut you down. They don't stimulate natural production of testosterone. And the fact that it's in this fucking article is ridiculous. It's a peer-reviewed article. It shouldn't have something this blatantly incorrect. And this is published in 2017. So, you know, it's relatively recent. And anyway, this is just a lesson to when you're looking at articles, which, you know, if you're doing any research on testosterone and things like that, or any medical research, it's very tempting to just go like straight to the conclusions, you know, scroll all the way past all the shit and go to the conclusion and see what the researchers have concluded, and then make assumptions based off of that. When a lot of times it's going to do you a good service to look at the finer details within the article. And when I see something like SARMs are a legitimate way to increase natural production of testosterone, it makes me question this entire medical article. How much, you know, what other incorrect information is in here that I wouldn't be able to discern because I just don't know any better. It's frustrating because you see all these guys on Reddit coming to Reddit for help with the medications that are prescribed by their doctors or their nurse practitioner or their physician's assistant, who was usually supervised by an MD. And they're coming to the layman for help all the time in droves, hundreds and hundreds of people coming to the layman for help because their protocol is fucked up, or they feel bad and they can't figure it out, or their doctor has them on some fucked up protocol and they have no idea how bad their protocol actually is. And it's like, it's just fucking sad, man, because, you know, I used to think you could trust your doctor to take care of your health, and you put your trust in them and their knowledge and their background and their history and their studying, all the work that it takes to become an MD. And then they trust you to follow through with whatever instructions they give you, right? If they give you medication, prescribe you medication, then you are to take that medication as prescribed because the doctor knows best, and you'll have an optimal outcome if you follow their instruction. When in reality, you have to take, like, in reality, a lot of times these doctors are just in the way. They're there to prescribe you the medication that you maybe already know how to use. I don't know, man. It's frustrating, and it's just sad seeing a bunch of people getting hurt by their doctors, and there's nothing you can do about it. I feel like doctors they're very good at staying within their specialty, you know. If you come in to a neurologist with chronic migraines, they probably can help you out pretty easily. Orthopedic surgeon for some fucking back problem, they can probably help you out there. But then it's like this weird shit where you go to a urologist or a TRT clinic, and they've seen like hundreds, if not thousands of patients, and they say dumb shit like SARMs can increase or stimulate endogenous testosterone production, or they prescribe HCG alongside enclomiphene, which is an obvious money grab at the cost of the patient's well-being, and it makes me fucking sick. So, you know, I want to say I have respect for doctors because it takes a lot of work to become an MD, but in my lifetime, in my experience over this past year, all the shit I see on Reddit, and Reddit's not everything, you know. Maybe it's a bias. Maybe there are people coming in on Reddit. The only people I see are the people having problems, and there's plenty of people who just get on testosterone and they're doing just fine. I'm sure that's the case, but there's just a lot of people hurting under the care of medical doctors, physicians assistants, and nurse practitioners, and it makes me really upset. Yeah, so SARMs don't stimulate endogenous production of testosterone. Don't fucking use HCG alongside a SERM if you're trying to do like, you know, monotherapy for improving your endogenous production. It's fine if you want to use them side by side for PCT. But in the individual's case that I was describing, it makes no sense. And if you're looking through medical literature, you know, doctors are humans too. And I think we oftentimes put them on a pedestal. I think the best doctors are the ones that humble themselves and are willing to learn. They're obviously very smart. They made it through medical school, but sometimes they lack a little bit of common sense. And even the layman can look at some things that doctors do and go, what the fuck are you doing? Because it lacks common sense. So I'd be very scrupulous when you're looking through medical research and medical journals, and don't just like read the abstract or go straight to the bottom to the conclusion and just make assumptions based off of the conclusions that they've made. Because maybe they're making some assumptions, or maybe they've made some errors as well. You know, I spent the last 8 months trying to convince doctors that a problem that I had was not a psychological one, but was indeed a neurological one. And I had to fight family members, and I had to push and push and push neurology. You know, the neurologist says, I don't think you're having a neurological issue, etc. I don't care. Refer me to a different neurologist. You know, I had in my mind from my symptoms that I had a neurological issue, and people were trying to push me to psych, or they were saying that the testosterone was causing it, like causing me to have psychosis, and like my brain is on fire and people look like demons and my fucking brain feels like it's being eaten by ants and all sorts of horrible shit for 8 months. And then finally I get treated with a widely available cheap medication, corticosteroids, which I was pushing for months and months and months, and I was denied it because I thought it was inflammation of my brain. And none of the doctors, they were looking at the pieces of paper and they didn't see any numbers that indicated inflammation. And so I was left to suffer for an extraordinarily long, egregious, cruel amount of time when there were treatment options available. And in the end, I was right, you know? And fuck, I have to go to therapy now for this shit. And then like my therapist is the only person that's told me that, you know? He's the only one that's looked me in the eyes and said, you were right, man. Like all that time, you were right. In the end, you know, they use a highly anti-inflammatory drug and improves your symptoms by 60%. You were fucking right. And if they had done that way sooner, if they had listened to my ideas and my reasons why I believed that it was inflammation and encephalitis, I probably wouldn't be fucking tripping balls all day like I am right now. I feel horrible. I can't function like I used to. I can't work. I can only, you know, make videos like these, like obviously when I get upset, because it's like the only thing that gives me energy is when I see something dumb as fuck, like somebody saying that SARMs produce increased natural production of testosterone. So I've had it, you know, I've had my limit, you know, I've had my limit with doctors, man. Have your own opinion, advocate for yourself, do your research. Don't trust your doctor just because he fucking says a thing. You know, I spend all these YouTubers like myself, you know, I've said it before, listen to your fucking doctor, listen to your doctor, you know, don't trust me, listen to your doctor. Sometimes you know best. And sometimes your doctor doesn't have your best interest in mind. Sometimes you go into their clinic, you have your exam, and as soon as you're out of the room, they're done thinking about you. And that's how it is right now. All the doctors that I've seen, I'm out of their exam room, I'm still suffering. They don't think about me. They don't give me a phone call, you know? They don't care. They're moving on to the next patient. And that's just how it is. They're busy, whatever. But you got to advocate and be careful for yourself, because doctors aren't always going to be looking out for your best interest. And that's just the skinny of it. So man, I'm sorry if this sounds like a negative, like a really negative video. Like, it's not a bubbly, like, whatever. But I don't mean for it to be a negative one. I just want you guys to be safe, because it's really sad seeing how many people are hurting in the medical system, and they can't get the help they need, or they're like, they have to find the information on their own. And I just want you guys to be careful, because I've seen a lot of people hurt by their doctors or their nurse practitioners or physician's assistants. It doesn't take a lot to become a PA, a physician assistant. And a lot of these TRT clinics are run by PAs. They need an MD to supervise them, but they don't necessarily need them on site. It depends on the state laws. And all it takes to become a PA is 2 years of training. And listen, I want to become a PA. That was what I was wanting to do before I fell ill. It was go to school to become a PA, because I was like, I don't want to go to medical school. It's just, I mean, medical school is a fuck ton of work. And if you bail, you got a huge amount of school debt now you have to deal with. So, but it only takes 2 years to become a PA. And they're the ones prescribing you your medications and managing your medications when they perhaps haven't had any experience whatsoever. I'll show you if I can find the conversation. I had a conversation with a guy on Reddit who was a physician's assistant who had just started up a TRT clinic. He's asking me for advice. He's asking me for advice on a patient. I'm looking at the patient's labs, and I'm looking at his symptoms, and I'm looking at his history and his medications and all this stuff. And I can give I'm like, dude, I can give you my guess on what's going on with this guy, but like, dude, you're the guy who just went to school to do this stuff. Like, why are you asking me? I'm a layman. You know, I really care about guys on testosterone. I'm really interested in this subject. I have a lot of opinions on it. I think a lot of doctors and a lot of PAs do things wrong, but it's just embarrassing to see a physician's assistant come to me with a question on their patient. Like, I'm not medically trained. You are, supposedly. And a lot of you guys are under the care of physician's assistants. And it's kind of dangerous, to be honest, like, for your well-being and mental health and all this stuff. So be careful. Like, choose your clinic wisely. If you can, go with urology. But, you know, not all urologists are great. And, like, endocrinology is probably not going to do you much good. I don't see a lot of guys getting their testosterone managed by endocrinologists. That's just how it is. Be careful out there. Do your own research. Be careful about what medications you take. Ask people on Reddit, on my fucking subreddit, r/TRT help. I try to give the best information I possibly can. I try to be unbiased about it. I don't like to, you know, people have very strong opinions. I like to play the middle ground. You know, not everything is good, not everything is bad. Aromatase inhibitors, for example, they're not always good or always bad. I hold middle ground on that, as well as HCG and dosage and injection frequency and things. So I'm not an extremist on any of these subjects, and I try to give a balanced answer when somebody's looking for help, or point them in the right direction. But there's also a lot of guys who have a lot of experience with these medications who can offer you their opinions and experiences, then you could benefit from that. So I know this is a long ramble. It started from this fucking SARMs thing on this medical article. I just can't believe multiple doctors were involved in this article, and the fact that this slipped through. SARMs stimulate endogenous production of testosterone is flabbergasting and honestly predictable. So that's disappointing. Hopefully next time when I make a video, it's not just because I'm pissed. You know, I got some more treatment coming up. Hopefully that helps my brain a little bit. Because, man, I fucking need it. It's been a long year. It's coming up on a year since my symptoms first started. And every day is a struggle. It's pretty fucking hard. But I'm hanging onto my butt cheeks. And I love you guys. I care about you. I want you guys to have the best life you possibly can. And that means, you know, be careful about what you put in your body. Be careful who you listen to. And take control of your own health. Because you are your best advocate. That's what I've learned this past year. You are your best advocate. Nobody can advocate for you like you can. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.